All right. So before I go too in depth on this little video, I want to lay the foundation down on a couple of opinions that I have. So first and foremost, for myself, mentally, when I think of the church, I don't think of it as just some building. I think of it as this is the temple of God. This is a holy place that God lives in, that God moves within. This is the temple, not just some church. That's the first thing. Second off, in and of itself, I don't believe that there's anything wrong with a church that has a pastor that wears certain kind of clothing or the church has a rotating door or a coffee shop, fog machines, lights, whatever. I don't believe that in and of itself there's anything wrong with that. So I just wanted to throw those two things down first. Now, let's get into talking to others about the church. When we're talking about bringing up those things that the church has to others, again, in and of itself, there's nothing wrong with it because it does help the church be relatable to people, society, culture, whatever. But it helps from a relatable factor. I mean, we're not wearing garments from 100 AD and having a building built on 4 stone pillars and using the words thou shalt ye. Not to say that any churches out there that do that is wrong. I mean, by all means, that's fine, to each their own. But in most churches, you wouldn't see that because, again, as times progress, so does terminology or whatnot. Anyways, so there's nothing wrong in mentioning those things from a relatable factor. However, what we really should be focused on when we tell others about the church is this is a place where God speaks through the pastor. What the pastor speaks is the Bible itself within context. Very important. You guys know I talk about context all the time. Within context, and he doesn't sugarcoat things. Sometimes it may feel like he's stepping on your toes. He doesn't care about walking on eggshells. So that's important. Another thing, again, this is the place where God lives. This is the place where God resides. The Holy Spirit can be felt there. Another thing, this is a place where I've seen transformations take place. I've seen lives changed. I've seen healings take place. Really focusing on those items. The reason why we say that is because we're doing one of two things when we're telling others about church. We're either bragging or focusing on God, or we're bragging or focusing on the building. And that also tells you where your heart may be, also depending on what you tell other people in terms of your spiritual maturity or walk. But those are the things that we should focus on. And our focus should always be on God, bragging on God, what God can do, what God has done. Those are the kinds of things that you'll want to tell others when bringing them to church. Again, nothing wrong with telling them we have all these little extra things from a relatable factor, but that is what you should focus on because we're bragging on God, not necessarily the church. Now, why is this important? Well, if we're telling people that our church has this and that or the other without focusing on the root cause, on the root reason why they should be coming to church, then they're going to have a certain expectation. Their expectation is going to be, hey, I'm going to go to church. Man, this pastor's going to look cool. I'm going to go into this, in essence, a performance, a concert. Maybe I'm going to get some motivational speaking in that's going to make me feel good inside. That's really what they're going to expect. And when their expectations are not met, what happens? They leave. So we, first of all, need to set the appropriate expectations, but set the expectations that God can change them, that God can do all of these things for them. That's why it's important what we say to others when we invite them to church. I hope that's helped, guys. If y'all have any comments, questions, whatever, throw them in the comments. I love you all. I'm praying for you guys, and I love each of you. Till next time.